Welcome to Ingram Microcloud Innovator Conversations, connecting innovators with problem solvers.
Welcome everybody to the Innovator Conversations as part of our Connection event. We're here today with Google, the one and only Sandeep Gupta, Lead Strategic Partner Manager at Google Cloud. He's in charge of the relationship here in Ingram Micro Canada, and we're really happy to have you, Sandeep.
Thanks, Jason. Your words are too kind, but I appreciate it, and I hope that you and your family are staying safe.
Thank you. We're all doing well, and same to you and your family. Well, we're just going to have a quick conversation and a couple questions for you, and I'd love to get your perspectives and insights. The first question, globally, Ingram Micro and Google have seen significant cloud growth. Some would consider it hyper growth. What's your perspective on why you think we're seeing such a growth specifically in Canada together?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I first want to acknowledge that what we're all facing, right? We're in a global pandemic. I want to acknowledge that what we've learned in the last year, both at a personal level and a professional level, has really changed the way we look at how we behave, whether they be at a consumer level or in the professional side as well, right? So the first thing that really comes to mind for me is when we first began this journey last year, when we solidified our partnership, and it's worth calling out that we actually launched our partnership the week everything started to shut down. So let's start there. And what that meant was a lot of uncertainty. We really didn't know what the shutdowns meant, not just for our communities, but what that meant for our customers, right? And so along with that uncertainty was fear, right? We didn't really know how our ecosystem, we didn't know how our customers were going to respond. And what actually ended up happening was the opposite, where our ecosystem, our customers started reaching out to Google, reaching out to Ingram in record numbers. Like we've seen an insane amount of how do I navigate my business? How do I navigate and guide my customers, right? Which is a fantastic thing to see. So the fear never really became a reality. And then once we got over our new normal, we started to have conversations around with our community and with our customers, the actual solving of the use cases, right? Like there were a lot of organizations, especially the smaller ones, that didn't have an enterprise type backbone to develop a remote strategy, to develop an IT strategy, right? Develop everything from what do I need to get home, to stay connected, all of the hardware, the software, and everything in between, right? So really, that's the first problem that we were aiming to solve, if you will, was forced change management. It wasn't something you planned for; it was forced on you, and that's ultimately what began our acceleration in Canada. It began our acceleration globally, for that matter. Organizations and customers and resellers were almost had to think fast and to make up ground in the types of digital transformations that were needing to happen almost overnight. So that's really, what spurred it, and that's where we are today. We continue to see that momentum. We continue to see a record number of our ecosystem knocking on our doors. We're doing our best to address everyone's concerns and comments and feedback, right? And so that's where we are. That's how it started, and now it's really interesting to see the evolution of where we started and where we are now. We're having these strategic, 3 to 5 year plan discussions with our customers. Not so much that, hey, what do I need overnight to open my store tomorrow? It's more like, well, how do I make sure I'm stacked for the future? And so super interesting to see that transition happen. But that's led to exponential growth, acceleration at a level that we haven't seen before in the IT space. And it's keeping us quite busy.
I can imagine, and I love
Yeah.
hearing that. I know the pandemic really struck this acceleration in growth in the short term. Lots of our partners' lenses became from that 1 to 2 year vision right down to what I'm going to do in the next 3 months to ensure the customers getting taken care of, and more importantly, that they're up and running and performing the business that they do. And doing it safely, right? Securing and making sure you have the right communication. So I know Google was a big part of that. And I'm happy that we're getting back to the reality of now planning for the next 2 to 3 years of how we want the businesses to look. So our partners out there completely appreciate that, and I'm sure that the joint customers we service also appreciated how fastly we moved as an ecosystem. Speaking of
Yeah.
ecosystems.
And you know what, Jason, that's really interesting that, like, a lot of our products land, they resonate really well across the various customers that we serve, right? Everyone from an SMB to a mid-market to an enterprise, right? So obviously, as you go higher up that rank, higher up that stack, what you see is, the decision-making time to transform is just significantly longer. That's just the reality of the segment. But um, we actually noticed that regardless of the type of customer that you were, you made decisions quickly. We had a couple of super interesting cases where we had some large financial institution that we were working with closely for years and talking about change management and changing the culture with all our products, make decisions over the course of a weekend. So it was amazing to see not only that the decision making reflect kind of the demand of what was needed to stay in business, but also to see just kind of the demand in terms of what that meant for Google from a product perspective and what that meant for our obviously Ingram Micro, cloud organization to support bringing that to life, right? And it's unprecedented, but we know the impact of the work that we have scales across all of the types of customers, regardless of size. So it's super interesting to see that evolution, to see that journey that everyone was on mutually, whether they knew it or not. It was pretty impressive. And it still is very impressive.
It is very impressive, and I'm just grateful I get to live that day and day with our partners. Speaking of our partners in the ecosystem here, you said that you just launched in Canada the chat. Continuing to grow your channel since the very beginning of the pandemic, right? You launched the first week, you went into lockdown the next week. But a lot has happened over the last year and coming into this new year. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the highlights and maybe some of the strategic initiatives or technologies that our Canadian partners that are out there today that are listening can leverage?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I know when we began our our partnership, we began with Workspace, right? Workspace is our key productivity offering. We really were aligned very closely to your cloud organization and aligning our SaaS product to how you guys go to market, and that's kind of where we began. And then as we went through that journey and we started speaking to your ecosystem and their customers, we started to realize that it's not just a one product game, right? And this is really where Chrome started to present itself, right? Chrome in the EDU space with our Google for Education offerings, as well as Chrome Enterprise in the non-EDU space, right? So this is everything from the hardware with Chromebooks to kind of the upgrade licenses to help with the manageability with IT. And what was super interesting is we were actually launching products through your cloud marketplace months into the pandemic. That to me is incredible because it shows the demand we were seeing. And then not only was that happening at a go-to-market level, but we at Google were very busy revamping a lot of these products because of the feedback that we got from our customers. Google Meet, for example, is part of our workspace portfolio, the core of how we're doing this chat today and how we're connecting with with our families, and students use this, in the classroom to go to school, go to class, and so so our products were changing with the customer demand. So we were doing all of this in parallel. So Chrome saw a complete uptick paired with Workspace, right? And then even within that, Workspace for education. This was a completely free SKU that we've always had to our EDU users. And what we realized is, again, based on some of the feedback from those users, from teachers and staff, that there actually needs to be a couple more iterations and SKUs of that product to actually cater to the different types of users, right? So we launched that with Ingram Micro. We launched that, others on the cloud marketplace, etc. So it's been a busy year of demand, but let's not forget that we're actually launching based on the demands that our users are telling us about. So between Workspace for Education, Chrome EDU, Chrome Enterprise, it's never a dull moment, which actually brings me to a key theme that we're also starting to see these trends is our ecosystem isn't just selling one thing. They're actually attaching one with the other, and they're pairing things in a narrative we call better together. How do you deliver the best of Google into an end user domain? Not just you check in, you sell one thing, and you check out. It's about expanding that footprint beyond just that initial offering that got you into that customer. So how do you continue to bring value? How do you continue to delight ultimately with our Google products that end customers experience is? So definitely something that we'll always continue to do, but always want to make sure that we're evolving and we're innovating and we're listening to our ecosystem, we're listening to our end users and solving those use cases, because that's ultimately what's going to keep, our businesses open.
Couldn't agree with you more. The speed in which we saw adoption and transformation, also we saw the same speed in development and innovation. So it's key areas of focus for Google. I know you guys are a big R&D firm and always looking to improve, and that better together story is really evident in some of the new things they've done. We're almost coming to time, and this is a quick conversation, innovator conversation, and we want to make sure that we thank our partners that are reviewing this today, and we appreciate the business. Sandeep has some things up and coming. I think you got something on June 15th that you'll be supporting. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, just getting a chance to really hear from the community, right? I always love getting a chance to engage with those that are closest to our end users, right? Those are the ones that we have the most impact with. So absolutely looking forward to being there, looking forward to engaging, looking forward to hearing what you're hearing, and just making sure that it's a true collaboration without the ecosystem. Jason, you and I don't get to do what we get to do. So let's just make sure that we continue to have that dialogue and just stay really connected. Again, partially because of the pandemic, but also because we want to make sure we're always putting our customers first. Couldn't
agree more. Well, Sandeep, with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. I wanted to thank you personally for joining and providing us with your insights today. Definitely, we're very aligned, and I love the fact that you guys are going to continue to grow the channel and continue to just be supportive of what we're trying to do here with our channel partners and for our mutual customers. I also like to thank the partners that are looking at or viewing in on this interview today. Thanks for joining the Innovator Conversations and being a part of our Connects event. We appreciate you. All right, talk to you guys all soon.
Thank you for watching Ingram Micro Cloud Innovator Conversations. Visit us at ingrammicrocloud.ca for more cloud conversations with innovators and problem solvers.